And welcome to a new episode of the Valley Sports Podcast. This is episode number 10. Today, I'll be talking about Green Valley Athletics, college basketball joined with Carter Gooch, college sports joined with Sydney Hemme, John Malicoat, Olivia Slaughter, and Morgan Hart. But to get started with Green Valley Athletics, the boys district starts out for both boys and girls tonight as I'm filming this. The boys' first round includes Rockbridge as the 1 seed will play Smith Cotton. Battle will play Green Valley, 4 and 5 seed. Columbia Hickman as the 2 seed will play Fort Osage. Blue Springs South as the 3 seed will play Blue Springs. And then on the girls' side, you have Rockbridge as the 1 seed once again, play the 8 seed Blue Springs. The number 4 seed Blue Springs South will play the number 5 seed Smith Cotton. The number 2 seed Columbia Hickman will play the number 3 seed or the number 7 seed Fort Osage. And the number 3 seed Green Valley play the number 6 seed Truman. This all starts on February 28th. The championship games for the girls is March 4th. That is on, I believe, a Monday. And then the boys' basketball will be played the following day on March 5th on Tuesday. And now I'm joined by former Valley Sports member Carter Gooch to help me talk about some college basketball games. We'll go from past games, we'll go up to the more recent ones. To start off, UCF upset number 23 ranked Texas Tech 75-61. Number 17 ranked Kentucky upset number 13 ranked Alabama 54-44. That is incorrect because that game was in the hundreds.
No, it was a different game.
Different game?
Different game was in the hundreds. Kentucky's so weird, dude.
And then Kansas State upset number 25 BYU 84-74, and Wake Forest upset number 8 Duke 83-79, and Flipowski got injured during the court storming at Wake Forest. What's your take on court storming, and how do you think that should be handled?
I think Duke should have kind of expected for them to get upset, and when you know that you're gonna get upset, they were losing by I think 6, with 5 seconds left, you should have taken your star players out of the game, get them off the court. I've seen Kansas do it all the time. Whenever they know they're going to get upset, know they're going to get court stormed, they get all their players off and put all the bench players in to make sure the safety of the players is fine. I think they should still do court stormings. Court storming should still be a thing. It's a cool thing to do whenever your team upsets. You're not as good of a team. You beat a ranked team. It's cool. But court stormings don't even happen that often. It happens with blue bloods and make top-ranked teams, or a bad team beats a good team. It doesn't happen that often. And just because Kyle I don't know how to say his name. Flipowski got hurt is kind of opening eyes, but I don't know. They should still be a thing.
The reason why they kept the starters in because Flipowski made it through with 43 seconds left to make it a 2-point game.
Oh, wow.
They only lost by 4. When I actually saw that happen, and I saw the court storming, and I saw the replay of the fans going all up on Flipowski, you even saw a guy try to slap him, and he got his back kind of. One guy tried to run right through Flipowski, and Flipowski just kind of pushed him off.
Flipowski did shove a dude, yeah.
Yeah, but the guy was charging right at. I love court stormings, and I love to see them. And it sucks to say this as a fan of college basketball, but it's gotta stop. Unfortunately, because people like Wake Forest fans force us to this has always been a conversation of if court storming should stop or not. But especially when a player gets injured is when it's going to be brought up, and it's going to bring a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Number 2, Houston escaped number 11 Baylor 82-76 in overtime. Houston actually hit a game-winning 3 that didn't count. It was after the buzzer, but they were still able to get the win. St. John's upset number 15 ranked Creighton 80-66, and then newly unranked BYU upset number 7 Kansas at home 76-68. How do you feel about that game, Kansas fan?
Well, usually Kansas loses a home game each year, and we hadn't lost one all year until this game. So, it sucks that we lost, but, you kind of have to expect a home game loss once in a while at Allen Fieldhouse. But, we're fine. We're obviously not great. We're missing Kevin McCullough, our best player. He might not be back even at all the rest of the season. So, I'm worried, but I'm not crazy scared. We'll still be a 3 or 4 or even still a 2 seed come March. So
Wasn't Kansas like home win streak like 85 games or something crazy like that?
no, it was a lot less than that. I'm sure we lost one. Probably not last year, but
2 years
maybe
ago?
the year before that. I don't know. Probably not the year we won the national championship, but I don't know.
Here's the thing for Kansas fans in Kansas, like this game is going to impact you a little bit, and it's going to impact the rankings, but the rankings don't matter at the end of the day. It's the March Madness selections that does.
Yeah.
And like the only way you don't get a 2 seed, I don't think Kansas will get a 1 seed, and I don't think they'll be a 3 seed. I think they'll be a 2 seed.
Yeah.
The only way that they can get a 1 seed potentially is if they win out and then
win
they
the
beat
tournament.
Houston in the championship game.
Yeah.
Which is going to be hard to do. And the Big 12 tournament will be a lot of fun to watch between Oklahoma being red hot, Texas also, and BYU being able to upset Kansas.
Iowa State too.
And I think the Big 12 tournament will be very interesting and the most interesting like conference tournament that'll happen. And it's definitely going to change some rankings in March Madness, but I don't see Kansas having this game impact them very much unless they get upset a few more times, which probably won't happen. But I don't think this game impacts Kansas at all.
Yeah.
Texas took down Texas Tech 81-69, and Texas player body checked Texas Tech player when the ball was rolling out of bounds. Texas's Brock Cunningham was ejected for that foul, and is a flagrant foul too on Darian Williams. Did you see the hit?
I did. It was nasty. He got him.
I didn't see that hit till today, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a big no-no. I think it was one of the top headlines for ESPN. But a rivalry like that, and for that to happen, tempers were definitely going to flare.
Did you see? So a bunch of I think it was a Texas Tech home game. A bunch of the Tech fans were throwing stuff on the court, I think, Texas sideline or not sideline bench or whatever, or at the player, and the coach, Texas Tech head coach, had to get on the mic and say, "Yeah, we are. You can't do that. We're going to get a technical foul."
Yeah, you definitely can't throw. I didn't see that, but yeah, you definitely can't throw stuff like that. Anything else?
I think that might be all.
Well, I thank Carter for his time, and I'll move on to college sports with John Malicoat and baseball. And now I'm joined by John Malicoat, and he's going to help me talk about some college baseball. College baseball started a couple weeks ago, and we'll just give some highlights of the past weekend. Stony Brook upset number 3 LSU in one of their games in their series. Texas Tech made history by scoring 32 runs in a single game. Number 2, Arkansas beat number 7 Oregon State, and Arkansas's pitcher Hagen Smith threw 17 strikeouts through 6 innings. That is 17 Ks out of the 18 outs that were possible. Kennesaw State upset number 10 Clemson in one game in their series. Gonzaga upset number 6 Vanderbilt in one of their games in their series. Auburn upset number 18 Iowa, and Wichita State also upset number 18 Iowa. And then number 11 East Carolina won their series against number 15 North Carolina in a walk-off. So, John, who do you think will win the national championship?
I think Wake Forest got it. I mean, they have one of the best prospects to ever grace the field. I don't know his name, but he's like the top prospect to be drafted, and then their pitching staff's like unmatched across college baseball. So
Vanderbilt hasn't looked as dominant this year. They're already 5-3 to start out the year, worse record than Notre Dame. I think it's going to come down to Arkansas and LSU. Arkansas showing some good signs of them possibly winning the national championship this year. But teams like TCU and Texas A&M are still undefeated that are in the top 10. I think it's going to be interesting to find out. It's a little early to guess, but yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's been so many teams upset by teams that, I mean, don't even deserve to be on the same field. And, I mean, it's going to get better as the year goes on, but I think you'll see it soon enough to see who's the best.
I mean, I'm looking at some of these rankings right now, and I don't know how some of these teams are ranked. Like number 24, Santa Barbara is 3-3, and they only dropped two 2 spots in the last rankings, and then you have Dallas Baptist, who's 7-0, and they just now entered the rankings. So it's going to fluctuate at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, I mean, KU's like I think 4-2 or something like that.
They lost to like Illinois, Chicago twice.
Yeah, we beat A&M or Texas A&M Corpus Christi. We beat them, but I haven't checked in a minute. I'll have to look. They're just not a baseball school, and they're not a basketball school either. Holy.
Well, that is all I have for college baseball. I thank John for his time, and now I'll bring on Sydney, Hemi, Morgan, Hart, and Olivia Slaughter for college softball. And now I'm joined by Morgan Hart, Sydney Hemi, and Olivia Slaughter to help me talk about some college softball. Number 19, UCLA upset number 5, Tennessee, 6-2 Sunday this past weekend. And then on Saturday, number 22 ranked Baylor upset number 13 ranked Missouri by the score of 5-4. Missouri was 13-1 entering that game and then fell to 13-2. And then you had number 12 Stanford upset number 2 Texas 4-3 in 8 innings. And then that's the recap. But who do you guys think is going to win the national championship? Obviously, you have teams still undefeated, like number 1 ranked Oklahoma is still 14-0, and number 5 LSU is 13-0. What are you guys' thoughts?
Oklahoma's gonna win. It's
Unfortunately, Oklahoma's
It's
going to win, but I
unlogic-
would like to see someone else win this year.
It's unlogical to say Oklahoma wouldn't win.
Yeah, they're just like even if their defense is like similar to other teams, their hitting is always going to be better unless they have a pitcher that we don't know about that's going to like shut them down, which probably isn't going to happen.
Because they've been doing fine without Jordy Ball, too.
Well, because Jordy Ball wasn't the reason they won
No,
games; it was their hitting that
Yeah,
won the games.
exactly.
But then there's teams like Alabama, who's underrated, ranked 11 in the nation, but they're 16-0 right now as well. They have the most wins out of anybody in college softball. But didn't they make a run in the College World Series a couple years ago?
Yeah,
Every
Alabama's
team-
been good.
Yeah, every team has their fair share of runs, but Oklahoma
Has
is the
never
only one that
stopped.
actually stays consistent.
I feel like I don't know, it just kind of changes each year. Like every year is different. You're either on or you're off. It just depends. Which
Yeah, it
teams are
was like
which.
UCLA, then it was like Oregon and Washington, and then it was
Mhm.
like not Georgia, FSU. So like
Yeah.
all these teams have good runs, but Oklahoma's the only one that's actually stayed consistent, getting back to the
I think Missouri's
national
having a good
championship.
run. Like they're having a good season so far, but like
So who do you guys think Oklahoma would play in the championship?
Georgia.
Bama.
I think it might be Alabama or Georgia. I think it'll
I think it'll be
depend.
Georgia.
It
I
depends how
think
things
it's
go.
hard to say who's gonna make it to the actual national championship versus just like the tournament, not like the final game.
The final game's hard to like say.
Do you
Yeah.
think Stanford will have another good year this year?
You're so obsessed with Stanford.
Stanford's 10-4,
I feel
ranked number
like
10 in the nation.
they're performing average.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a
successful.
shot they could get to the national tournament, but I don't think it's either going to be guaranteed
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Stanford has the second most amount of losses out of any other team ranked
Yikes.
in the top 25. Still a top-ranked team because they beat, I believe, number 2 ranked Texas, handed them their first loss of the year in 8 innings. But that is all I have for you guys. Thank you for you and your time. And that is all for this episode of the Valley Sports Podcast. I'll see you guys next time.